when you come in with your teams, ask these types of questions. List open-ended questions and listen. Ask questions like, how would we design this if we were starting it over? If we were completely rebuilding this system, what things would stay? What things would go away? What would we be doing differently? What would it feel like? And ask those questions and listen to people. And here's what I have found, and I use this form of leadership a lot. It's called adaptive leadership. And when you do these kinds of exercises and you squeeze and then you release and then you listen, you will learn a great deal of things. So, for example, when we were doing the transformation for this large engine line, I would have these conversations and I would say, "Hey, when can we get that improvement done?" And I knew it was hurting my people, and I knew that the people that were responsible for owning it weren't really feeling the pain. And sometimes they would kick it down the road a little bit, and they're like, "Yeah, I think we can get there by the end of the month." And I would say something, and this sounds harsh when you hear it, but it's a form of kata. What I'm doing is I'm using a leadership technique to push a questioning conversation. And I would say, "I think you can do it by tomorrow." And then that's the push, that's the squeeze, and then I release. And I change my nonverbals. I'm not pushing anymore. I completely back off. And then this is what 9 times out of 10 they'll say something like this or something very related. They'll say, "That's impossible." And I'll say, "Why? Tell me why. Why is that impossible?" "Well, because we don't have this." "Okay, don't have this. And we don't have this." "Oh, don't have this. And if we do that, management's going to react in this way." "That's interesting. I didn't realize they did that." And it begins to map your gaps so that you can push yourself out of your type 0 root cause of standard does not exist, a standard is not followed. Now I'm starting to understand why standard is not followed. And if you use these techniques, it can really help. But ask those questions like, if we started at the beginning, what would we do? What would we not do? What would we erase? And erase enough to where it hurts. When you're having these conversations, take enough out and say, "I think we could get by without that." "No, no, no, no." And you'll hear that over everything. Say, "We're removing it. That is coming out for sure." And watch the pain. And where you feel a lot of pain for removing it, it's probably more real. And where people are willing to let go of it, they're probably just holding on to it for comfort or safety. But try to find where that edge is. And it doesn't mean you're going to get there, but you do know it's the edge, right? That's the limit. It's very, very helpful.